dance. You should ballet training. He's got the power going in on him, avoiding Trudeau's jabs, which with his longer reach should be able to keep Brazeau away. But they're not.
Shiny pony's face. Don't touch the face. I don't want those beautiful lips to be bleeding.
Thank you very much, and oh shit.
Pow! There's a lot of strange things happening. Johnny Depp is a senator now? Not really. This is Senator Patrick Brazeau. He drops in the red chamber, man. Dealing with Leo Housakos. He was asking the questions, though. Senator Brazeau, he goes down. Man, he's a wreck. Let's take a peek. This one's wild. YouTube told me to make this video, so I'm making it. It was hard to get the material together. Let's look at this. Nuts.
Oh, yeah. Under the leadership of Chrystia Freeland and Minister Guilbeault being environmentally enthusiastic, and now under the leadership of Prime Minister Carney, we are optimistic but skeptical. Because you know what? Minister Guilbeault and Minister Freeland are still there.
Same crowd.
And I can't believe that all of a sudden they traded in their environmental excessive enthusiasm for an excessive enthusiasm for energy development. We'll see where the chips fall. We'll see at the end of the day when it comes to nation building if this new government with the same old ministers will embrace with the same enthusiasm nation building and energy building in the same degree that they embraced environmental zealotism and over-enthusiasm over the last 10 years. Are they going to show the good intentions, which we believe, and I believe, has been forced upon Prime Minister Carney by a general election, where millions and millions of Canadians have voted for change? They want to turn their back at a decade where they've created red tape and stalling projects and stalling foreign investment and stalling our energy development, and they want to turn the page under the guise of this crisis. I want to turn the page under the principle of nation building. And nation building shouldn't be based on an existential crisis forced upon us by some overzealous president or another. It should be a constant drive forward to make this country stronger, wealthier, and have a foundation to build where our First Nations people are part of that and equal partners, and we respect our environmental guidelines. We need to return back to some semblance of balance, which I think we have lost over the last decade. We are going into the next little new era of this new government, even though it has the same old ministers, with a great deal of hope, because we need to meet that aspiration, because the country is in a crossroads and there's no turning back. But let me be clear here. This bill, colleagues, is not great legislation crafting. There's nothing great or legislative about this. This is all very political. This is a government coming out of the eve of an election, putting a deadline of July 1st, which is nothing more than a public relations exercise, and they're saying, a prime minister saying, trust me, I will get us there. We want the country to collectively come together, and I will get us there. I will hold an open mind. The opposition group will hold an open mind. As you saw by the way they voted, and they were constructive in helping build this legislation on the House, they have an open mind. But the success or failure of this legislation is incumbent on the Prime Minister. Will he have the political will to do everything that this legislation intends to do? If this was a Conservative government tabling this legislation, let's be clear, many of you will be on your feet voting against it and ripping your shirts in indignation and lamenting it till the cows come home. All right? The good news is it's a Liberal government right now that's putting this forward, and they have our support wholeheartedly, and I suspect the support of most of the people in this chamber as well. Thank you, colleagues.
Before we jump into the rest of the video, let's take a look at Patrick Brazeau. Let's see if there's anything we can find out about this guy. And now look at that, there is. Here we go, Patrick Brazeau, Canadian senator from Quebec at the age of 34. He was and is the youngest member of the Senate during his appointment. So yeah, we'll zip down to the highlighted piece. Brazeau pled guilty to simple assault charges in cocaine possession as a part of a plea deal in which other assault charges were dropped. He was acquitted of the sexual assault. You can look yourself online about Patrick Brazeau, but so we know, this guy maybe has a history.
Oh, yeah.
Senator Brazeau, you have a question?
Yes, pleasure.
Senator Brazeau.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Just building up on the meeting in July with Indigenous leaders, and I was meaning to ask the question to the sponsor of the bill earlier, but time ran out, so let me get a little bit creative with the time that I have here. Do you think it would be important for the opposition in the Senate to ask the sponsor of the bill what exactly is the purpose of the meeting with Indigenous organizations? And I ask this because, well, one, I was a former head of one of the 5 national organizations, which are all funded by the Government of Canada. And so many of these organizations are funded to play ball with the government. But wouldn't it be important to have clarification on why the meeting is taking place with Indigenous organizations when those 5 Indigenous organizations in Canada are not the rights holders of anything? They are political lobby organizations. And so, you know, hypothetically, what happens if a project, a future project of the Government of Canada includes the Algonquin people? Well, the Assembly of First Nations, the Métis National Council, the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, the Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami, and the Native Women's Association of Canada do not represent the Algonquin people. So do you think the opposition, it's important for the opposition in the Senate to seek clarification as to what exactly is the consultation process taking place in July 17th? And is that really helping the process for the real First Nations in this country?
Senator Usakos.
Thank you for the question, and obviously the government is best suited to answer it, but the only thing I can surmise is that the government is consulting far and wide. I'm very disappointed to hear that they're actually, if you're saying they only invited groups that are associations rather than First Nation representatives themselves. Probably, again, a political exercise, but again, I'm only surmising that's the case. The only thing that, as you saw from the amendments that were done in the other House in regards to the Indian Act, and I suspect there might be a few more amendments coming from this chamber, the First Nations people are the most important in developing our resources and showing respect for our land, and there has to be a robust consultation. C-5, obviously, if you look at the way the bill is structured right now, it's relying on the goodwill of government, right, in order to reach out and to come to arrangements, of course, with various First Nation peoples, depending on which region of the country and depending what type of infrastructure project we're talking about. I always get very weary. Both you and I have been here for an equal amount of time, a very long time. I always get weary, regardless of political colors, when I have to rely on the goodwill of governments without some legislative pressure and some parliamentary oversight. So I don't know if that answers your question. I hope the government does a better job at it tonight.
Senator Brazeau.
Thank you very much, and oh shit.
Colleagues, I would like to thank everyone for the quick action, especially of our emergency and security personnel. So thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Never meaning to kick a guy when he's down, and Brazeau there did go down, but I think he was way up right before he fell. What do you think? How did it seem to you? He used to be a member of the Conservative caucus before he got into so much trouble with substance abuse and the law. Anyhow, now he's just a plain old senator. Give me a break. Aaron, Canadian Looney, things are weird in Canada. Like, share, subscribe. We're trying to show it to you. I'm learning myself. If you like these Senate videos, let me know in the comments. Leave a comment, even if you don't. That's it. Aaron, thanks for watching the video. We'll catch you in the next one, gang. We're out. The sunburn is clearing up.
The one we call Canadian. Canadians.